I knew all along. I knew all along. Can you guys hear me? Oh, let me make sure my volume's up. It is. Wait, let me do that again. There we go. Good morning. 4-4. Good morning. How are all my awakened starseeds doing this morning? How is your ascension going? Are you doing all right? What do you need? You need someone to listen to you? I got you, boo. You need some spiritual advice? Go see your guides. You need some peace in your life? Do meditation. I am so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be here co creating with you in this magical way. I am so grateful for all of my blessings. I'm so happy to be here. Good morning. Welcome to Patience with Spirit. I am Patience. I am your host of Spirit News on Spotify and all major platforms, a podcast where we teach you about your non physical energy. We are so grateful to be here. We have a very exciting read today. I've been doing some meditation. I got some stuff I wrote down. Bruce and Brandon Lee. It's very exciting. It's all very exciting. I am Patience. I already said that. Sorry. Excuse me. I worked so hard. I worked 10.5 hours yesterday because my boss is on vacation and I wanted to make sure that the bakery was set up for the weekend. And I was just, it's a lot for one person, but it's okay. I did it. And so I'm a little tired today, but that's all right. So excuse me if I'm a little low energy, but I am excited to be here. We have been getting lots of downloads, we've been learning lots of things. Um, I was meditating on Bruce's energy last night, and it's funny because last weekend we did a mother and a son, and this weekend we're doing a father and a son. So it's funny how spirit like evens it out that way. I'm new to channeling two spirits or loved ones. I'm new to that. Hi Jay, thanks for being here. Good morning. I'm new to doing that, so I'm excited to keep doing it to get more information. I mean, ultimately, it comes together as one source of information, but to be able to discern between the two characters or the two energies is a development challenge for me. So I'm happy to do so. My name is Patience. I am a medium. I've was born this way. We believe here at Spirit News that everybody has spiritual abilities. Everybody. Your non-physical energy is the medium in which picks up non-physical energy. Um, and then your body interprets that information, and it's up to you to discern what the information is telling you, because energy is real, just like Albert Einstein discovered. Energy is real, and it's not physical. You can't taste it, you can't touch it, you can't see it, but it is real, and it affects us because we are first and foremost non-physical entities having a human experience, and without our physical vessels we return back into energy. So it's not something that we stop becoming just because we have a human vessel. You ever had a heartache so bad to see someone you have to wait till you get to heaven? I have had this for 16 years. Well, I'm sorry that you've had that. By having the belief that you cannot connect with someone who's crossed over until you cross over prevents you from actually having the feeling that they're actually really in reality next to you all the time, because when someone crosses over, they don't leave, they don't go to some separate space where you, good morning Robin, where, thanks for being here Robin, love you, they don't go to some separate area or space where you cannot reach them. And when you believe, because this is the land of make believe, this is literally the realm of make believe, where your beliefs will actually um, create or yeah, will create your reality. So if you believe that you're separate from the person who's crossed over, it will literally keep you from experiencing their energy, because they can't come close to you if you have a field of disbelief that they're even close to you. So I'm sorry that it took 16 years for someone to tell you that, but obviously you came here to be told that because someone you love wants to get close to you. So I would change your thoughts about the way that a crossed over loved one can like exchange energy with you. Because I talk to my grandmother all the time. I'm very close to her, and I had to retrain my brain to not think about needing her physically, that I can interact with her at any time on an energetic level and feel the emotional response of love, of unconditional love from her, where she's actually in a healed place and she can help me at any point in time that I ask for help. Oh, you're welcome, Chicago. Thank you. Thank you for being here. It's my honor to have picked up that message. I'm glad you heard it. So, and that goes for any crossed over loved one, ancestor, angels, any non-physical energy. It's it's just assume that they're there, and the only reason you can't feel them is because there's something within you that feels like you're not able to connect with them. Okay? So, we believe everybody's psychic. If you just put your focus and intention on developing that aspect of yourself, of your non-physical energy, you can definitely pick up on energy and read it. Grief is hard going about it alone. I think it's hard if you don't understand how energy works. Like I said, you grieve something that you lost, but if you never lost it, then and you can have access to it on an even more unconditional level, and you can actually have help and guidance from it, it actually makes it better. It makes it a stronger connection. So just remember, it's all in how you're perceiving it. If you're perceiving it as grief and something that's hard to handle, then it will be. I don't have any family or friends to talk to, so just hearing your words and a new way to channel that grief into something positive. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I'm gonna cry. Don't make me cry. My pleasure. Thanks for being here. So happy you could get the message. If one person receives a positive way to change a perspective, then I won. I'm winning over here. I'm winning. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Mm, yes. So we're talking to Bruce and Brandon Lee, and that's so funny that you should bring up that we should. You literally just changed my life. Oh my god! Ah! Don't make me cry. Oh my god! Stop! Oh, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. Go forward. Go forth. Hi, Tobin. Thanks for being here. We're changing lives up in here. But it's funny that you mentioned that because I was meditating on Bruce's energy, Bruce and Brandon, and Bruce's like I don't want to say he's the stronger energy, but he's the one who is like leading the energy. I can feel that. So um keep waking up. All Spirit says keep waking up. Keep waking up, everybody. Keep waking up. So yeah, last weekend we did a mother and son, and this weekend we're doing a father and son. And then beliefs. I wrote down beliefs, um, and ahead of his time, racism, curses, knowledge. Um, and what I was getting, and I'm just saying it first, so when we draw the cards, it can kind of validate the intuitive hits I was getting. What I was getting is something about beliefs. Um, and it had to do with curses and and I'm not sure in which way it's going to apply to the situation, but it kind of feels like um almost like cultural beliefs or cultural generational curses, something like that. And then I was getting like racism because he was in America trying to do his martial arts, and something about, America like typecasting him or something, or trying to give him roles that were, he considered racist or something like that. And then ahead of his time with his knowledge, I was really getting this like really like ascended master vibe from him. And I know just from, I don't know a ton about Bruce Lee, but I know that, sometimes there's quotes or like memes of his like knowledge that he would share on the internet. My gazelle, what's wrong with you? I would like to make a mistake with you. Well, it's 3 a.m. for me. I do not have school. It's 5 a.m. over here. So Chicago was talking to, we just changed, we just gave them a new perspective on how to look at something. And so what I was getting with Bruce and Brandon Lee is some kind of belief system about some kind of I just can't, I can't like it's some kind of belief system about I can't really put my finger on it. Um and definitely the knowledge. And then I wrote moment of truth, which is so funny because tomorrow we're going to be connecting with Guru from Gangstar, who I love Gangstar. And they have a song called Moment of Truth, and it goes mm, that's so funny. I've been singing it all morning and now I can't even think of the words of the how it starts. I'll leave you I'll leave you right where you stand. Oh my gosh, I can't even think. That's so funny. I was literally singing it. I literally went to bed with it stuck in my head. Interesting. Moment of Truth lyrics. Oh, I guess I should stay who it is. Gangstar Moment of Truth lyrics. There we go. Ah, damn it. Ugh, I'm so mad at myself that I forgot it. They say it's lonely at the top, and whatever you do, you always gotta watch mother effers around you. Nobody's invincible, no plan is foolproof. We all must meet our moment of truth. The same shiesty cats that you hang with and do your thing with could set you up and what you up. Nuggy peep the language. Yes. So something about that. You play with fire and it may hurt you. It's universal. You play with fire, it may hurt you or burn you. Lessons are blessings you should learn through. Let's face facts. Although MCs lace tracks, it doesn't mean behind the scenes there ain't no dirt to trace back. That goes for all of us. There ain't nobody to trust. It's like sabotage. It's got me ready to bust. But I can't jeopardize what I have done up to this point. So I'm gonna get more guys to help me run the whole joint. Cultivate, multiply, motivate, or else we'll die. So that song's also gonna apply tomorrow when we do the reading for Guru, because I have a feeling there's some kind of betrayal or something. There's a lot of energy. And then one last thing before we get started that I wrote down that I want to share is I was meditating last night on the energy and I got this vision. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie The Covenant, the Alien Covenant movie. And in that movie, Michael Fassbender is the artificial intelligence, and he's fascinated with that uh, liquid, that black liquid that is basically a weapon of mass destruction, okay? And he has it on the he dips his finger in the solution and he like dips it in the water of that human and he actually experiments on that human. So I got that and I'm not saying that's what literally happened to Bruce Lee, but it's the energy of someone trying to manipulate or control the outcome of something, of Bruce's career, of something. Um, Very tricky, very underhanded, very sleight of hand, very shisty, something like that. Okay. And the reason why I wanted to do this reading is because of like, what are the odds? Okay. I was reading the way that Bruce Lee died. And not that, I think we all view Bruce Lee as like this invincible strongman because he overcame so much and he was like the best martial arts person and he was so wise. And so he seems almost like, so legendary. Like, how could you die this way? And the way he died was um, an allergic reaction to Tylenol. And and it and that just seems like preposterous. Like, and then you say, okay, so okay, sure, he had an allergic reaction to Tylenol, and he got some kind of blood clot or something in his brain. Okay, sure. But then 20 years later, his son dies on a movie set and gets shot. Now, what are the odds of that? Like, that's very, very astronomical. Like, that's just not, like, why? Why is that? How could that even, I don't know. It just seems like really not, like something that's really astronomically, like, not possible. I mean, anything's possible, but that just seems like really far-fetched. So, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. Holy Divine Spirit, angels, spirit guides, ancestors, loved ones, beings of love and light. Thank you so much. We love you. Thank you so much for being with us. We are so grateful. Bruce and Brandon Lee, if you're in a healed place and you'd like to come forward, we invite you into our energy so we can get your higher perspective of your human view. Tell us what your story is. Thank you so much. We are happy to have you. We're very happy to have you. Tell us, where should we start first? Let's do. I don't know, I'm getting my emotion cards. Bruce and Brandon Lee, tell us, what do you want us to know first? How do you want to start this off? So what's going on? What is the vibe? What is the vibe? Passion. Passion. Yes, this kind of goes back to but I can't jeopardize what I've done up to this point. So I'm gonna get more guys to help me run the whole joint. Cultivate, multiply, motivate, or else we die. It doesn't mean behind the scenes there ain't no dirt to trace back. Yeah, that's kind of like what's giving me the vibe of this passion. Something he was very passionate about, something that he worked hard on, something that he didn't want to give up on, something that he took action on, something he was trying to master, an accomplishment, something came out sideways. So something that he didn't want to stop, but maybe he was facing a lot of challenges. He was facing a lot of. Brenda is a woman. Spirit said something about Brenda. during the height of madness. I did get racism. He could have been experiencing a lot of racism in America. Ideation in reverse, yeah. Yeah. Um, he didn't like being stereotyped, and it was creating some kind of obstacles for him in the career path he wanted to go in. Faith. Faith. Love in reverse. Faith without love? Faith without love. Growth. That's too many. Give me one more. Death. Oh, shit. Death. Okay. Passion. Crime of passion, heat of passion. To stop ideation in reverse. So let me make sure I understand what ideation means. I think I know what it means. Ideation?
Here's the definition of ideation.
The formation of ideas or concepts. Yeah. Ideation. It's in reverse. So his ideas or his concepts, paranoid ideation. Oh, and on my paper. Oh. I got it. He was way ahead of his time, okay? There's a quote by him. Don't speak negatively about yourself even as a joke. Your body doesn't know the difference. Words are energy and they can cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. Change the way you speak about yourself and you can change your life. So if Bruce Lee said that, he said a lot of things. He said, and I've said this a lot to people about being water. He said you have to flow like water. You have to be flexible. You have to bend to your situation. Water flows around things. It doesn't crash through things. It learns to go around them. And so that's like the knowledge that he was representing. And there's some kind of, his ideas were not going to work for the time he was in. He was way ahead of his time. There's something about his ideas being bulldozed over. His philosophy, teaching people his philosophy, being a person of influence with that level of philosophical ideation was not going to fly. So they didn't love it. Love in reverse. They didn't love his faith, because his faith would have helped the society ascend. Imagine if Bruce Lee didn't die and he continued to rise in fame through his martial arts, and he was spreading this kind of philosophy, these kind of ideas. We would be at a completely different place in our ascension than we are now. And so that might devil devil key. So he was stopped. Basically, he was stopped. Okay. I'm getting the mind trap cards. Mind trap. Yeah, he was too ahead of his time. So what? So he would have had a lot of growth he would have grown society, and society would be in a different place. This was in 1973, I believe. Yeah, 1973, yeah. He died in Kowloon Tong, Hong Kong. But he was born in 1940 and he died in 1973, and here he is with these really, really philosophical, very spiritual beliefs probably coming from another culture that he learned while he was doing kung fu. A traffic cop was stopped at a red light. Professor Bumble, who had his mind on a lecture, he was about to get. Oh, I'm sorry. Who had his mind on a lecture he was about to give, drove his car right by him and through the light without stopping. The cop witnessed the entire scene but made no attempt to stop him. Why not?
Seeking your guidance.
I'm seeking your guidance.
Incubus.
Incubus. Mm. The answer is Professor Bumble was driving through a green light in front of the cop who was stopped at a red light. Mm. Bumblebee. Bumblebee. Bees are royalty. Bees are have a queen. Bees are. Bruce Lee may have had high spiritual ranking. He may have always had a green light. Everything worked out for him. A traffic cop was stopped at a red light. Professor Bumble, who had his mind on a lecture he was about to give, drove his car right by him and through the light without stopping because he had a green light. The cop witnessed the entire scene but made no attempt to stop him. And I have stop right here. He was very passionate about bringing his ideations to America. He was very passionate about um, becoming someone of influence in America.
Russell.
And
Robert.
and there were a lot of things that worked out for him, but there were a lot of things that he was given a red light for. And as he was going through the green lights, eventually something attempted to stop him. Or he had no attempt. He had no, or he was not going to attempt to stop giving his philosophies or something like that. Hmm. He may have had high spiritual ranking though, because I have Professor Bumble, which reminds me of a bumblebee. And he was going to speak his mind of a lecture, so something that he was going, something knowledge, some kind of knowledge he was going to give. Um, but it could have been why he was trying to be stopped in America, because I know that he had to go back to Hong Kong to really blow up here in America. So something about that. Tell me more. Oh, that one was way too long. Clem Walton, a wealthy hermit, lives alone in a small cottage bordering the town of Proton. Being partially handicapped, Clem had everything delivered to his cottage. The mailman was delivering his war veterans check one Thursday when he noticed that the front door was ajar. Through the opening, he could see Clem's body lying in a pool of dried blood. When Shadow arrived, he surveyed the scene. On the porch were 2 bottles of warm milk, a Monday's newspaper, a local hardware store catalog, charity flyers, and unopened mail. The autopsy confirmed Clem had been dead for several days. Who does Shadow suspect of foul play and why? I told you guys, foul play. I told you. Shadow suspects the newspaper delivery person. The absence of Tuesday's and Wednesday's newspaper indicates that the delivery person knew there was no one there to read it. So,
Read it now.
thank you, Spirit. There's something about a wealthy
Lady in
man.
white.
There's something about a wealthy man and possibly a lady. Something, the warm milk. Warm milk. So, someone involved, so the person, there's two people here. Two people. A lady in white and a wealthy man or person. A wealthy person who has everything done for them. Um, they're powerful, they're a person of authority. They could have possibly been in a
Devil is haunting you.
dev- the devil, someone who's the devil,
Clown.
someone who's a clown. Bruce just said he's a clown. This is somebody who's very drunk on power. They're very greedy. They're very, they're already wealthy, but they have to have everything. They can't keep relationships. They're very manipulative. Um, Bruce could have been at their house or been in their presence or had some kind of association with this person. I don't know to what capacity yet, but this person could have had something to do with foul play involving Bruce. It also says shadow. So that's what it's giving me the vibe of what did the song say? A shiesty cat. The same shiesty cats that you hang with and do your thing with could set you up and wet you up. Nuggy Pete the language. It's universal. You play with fire, it may hurt you or burn you. And behind the scenes, there ain't no dirt to trace back. Someone who couldn't jeopardize what they've done up to this point. So I'm gonna get more guys to help me run the whole joint. Mm, yeah, something was done in secret to stop Bruce Lee because he had his own ideas about how he wanted to grow and he had faith that somebody didn't love. He had some kind of faith that somebody didn't love that was giving him green lights for everything. Everything was working out for him no matter what obstacles this person put in front of Bruce. Bruce was
Male
like
evil.
male evil. I told you Bruce was like water and he found a way around it. There's something about leaving him to die or something, or letting him lie there dying. Something about Clem's body lying in a. I don't think there was. I mean, I don't know. I'm just reading the energy. This says in a pool of dried blood. I don't know if that's true or not, but there is something about not helping him as he was dying, and that mm, that reminds me of the scene from The Covenant. Hi, Ophelia. Hello from The Covenant. In the scene, Michael Fassbender, and I'm saying that this guy, the shadow guy, is the character of Michael Fassbender doing some kind of I don't want to say experiment. I mean, that's what he's doing in the movie, but he was essentially the arbiter of death. Like he knew that it was possible that by doing this action, by putting that black drop in his water, that, he would die. And so something about that, something about doing something knowing that it would die. And then in the movie, he watched the progression of whatever he put in his water take over his body. That's what he wanted to see. That's what he wanted to find out would happen. It's something like that, like some kind of, I don't want to say experiment. It's not an experiment. It's knowing something would happen but not being sure how it would happen. Does that make sense? Kind of like, it kind of reminds me of that curse vibe, some kind of intention or like energy manipulation, or knowing if I do this, I don't know exactly how it will unfold, but I know that it will happen. And so he could have arrived to see, him on the floor and realized, oh, it's happening now. And then he didn't do anything about it. This shadowy figure, this rich, wealthy man, he didn't do anything about it. And then there's even an autopsy. Um, I know I know in the autopsy that was done, it showed that he had an allergic reaction to Tylenol, which is just absolutely ridiculous. I just think that's ridiculous. Um, are you telling me that's the first time you ever took that? Like, I don't know. It just seems kind of far fetched. And so that's why I'm saying he could have done something separate to manipulate the energy and do some kind of death energy to Bruce Lee, but didn't know how it would unfold. And when it started unfolding, he realized it when he arrived and Bruce Lee was on the floor, and he didn't do anything about it. Or he waited to do something, or he waited for someone to arrive, or he manipulated the scene in some way before someone arrived, because it says Shadow arrived to survey the scene. Something like that. Okay. Mm. There is a tale in classic mythology of a sphinx, a winged monster that is part woman and part lion, who asked difficult riddles to travelers passing by. Those who did not answer the riddle correctly, she killed. This is the riddle the sphinx asked the travelers. What animal walks on four legs in the morning, two legs during the day, and three legs in the evening? The animal is man. Morning, day, and night are representative of the stages of life. Four legs symbolizes a baby crawling, two legs the walking stage, and finally three legs symbolizes old age when a cane is needed to walk.
Steps.
Steps. Oh, I see what I wicked. I see what you're saying. Okay, I'm just gonna say what I'm getting. This is for entertainment purposes only. I cannot prove any of this. I'm just reading the energy and I'm just saying what I'm getting, okay? Spirit just said male evil, steps, and wicked. So when Spirit said steps, I was thinking in my head, what what are these stages symbolizing for this message? He said steps. And so what I'm getting is that there may have been steps taken that were supposed to affect his life by an animal of a man, a wicked, evil man, a wicked, evil, wealthy man who wasn't getting the correct answer he wanted from Bruce Lee. He wasn't getting the answer he wanted. He was faced with a difficult riddle on how to solve some kind of problem, but he's a monster, and he he tells lies. He's a liar. Um, he knew that Bruce Lee would have some kind of longevity or would live to old age if he didn't do something, or there was something about Bruce Lee not giving him something he wanted, or not answering correctly, or not giving him the outlet he needed to correct something or to have something. Okay. Basically, Bruce Lee may have been in a position where he was rejecting this person, where he was like fed up with this person. Um, Something about a connection between Bruce Lee and this person's um, path in life, and where Bruce Lee may have had some kind of like power over him by possibly because I mean I don't know their relationship. Um, it says
Speaker.
there's speaker, the same shiesty cats that you
Tires.
hang with and do your thing with could set you up and wet you up. So someone close to him, someone who relied on him for wealth. It may have been someone in the movie industry with him, or someone he made movies with, or something like that. Um, that was reliant on his participation in working together. Um, and Bruce Lee may have wanted to separate himself from this person because this person's a liar and they're a monster and they're a manipulator. All they care about is money. They live in their shadow. Spirit has already said devil, male evil, and wicked. So this isn't a good person that Bruce wants to separate from. And so this I see this in two ways. This riddle. In one way, this person sees Bruce as a meal ticket, as a way to live to old age, as a way to have wealth. The riddle is how do I keep him from leaving? Or how do I keep him from making money? Or how do I keep him from going somewhere else? How do I prevent him from leaving me? Or something like that. But it says those who did not answer the riddle correctly, she killed. So this winged monster, the answer for them was to kill Bruce Lee.
Natally.
Honestly, if that is the answer you come up
Old
with,
carnival.
yeah, old carnival, old tricks. Up to their old tricks. This may have been something this person's done before. Wow. And then also the steps, some kind of like I don't know yet. I don't know exactly what, but like it kind of feels like this. And I'm just going to say it for the data. The steps taken were taken like oh, what's that word? Like he kept having green lights. So it might have started off small, like oh well let me do this and to take his abundance and whatever they did, and it was small like he won't get a role or he'll be rejected by this movie company, small, and then Bruce Lee was still very positive about it because he's like water. He's like
Angela.
whatever obstacles come for me, I'm ready for. And so
Intertaste activity.
he was like, whatever, I'll just find something else. Whatever's meant for me is meant for me. He had he had a very abundant, positive philosophical faith. And so he kept getting green lights that way. Whatever's meant for me will be meant for me. And so this person was seeing that. And so it started off small and it gradually, it was a gradation of steps until finally this person thought or in their crazy head was like, the only way to stop him is death. The only way to stop him is death. And so it wasn't like it wasn't a decision that was the first decision, but it was like steps taken to that decision because no matter what this person tried to do, take their money, affect their family, like all these things, and it wasn't working. So something like that. Something like that. That's so funny. Okay. What else? A high speed electric train is traveling southeast at 90 kilometers per hour. The wind is blowing westward at 30 kilometers per hour. In what direction will the smoke from the engine blow? Electric engines don't blow smoke. Yeah, I told you. This is referring to Bruce Lee's energy. Bruce Lee's energy is like it's electric. The Bruce Lee understands energy. He has a faith that this person does not love. This person doesn't walk in the same energy that Bruce Lee does. This person's a devil, is an evil male, is wicked. And so he's in a very lack mindset. And so he has this weird distortion that Bruce Lee if Bruce Lee leaves him, then he's not going to have blank wealth, money, power, because Bruce Lee does not want to stay in this energy. Okay, so that's the situation here. Tell me more about Bruce Lee leaving. Tell me more about you leaving, buddy. Where should I go? 20 questions? All right, we'll do 20 questions. Tell me more about you leaving. Like what made you want to leave? What was the sign that you should leave this situation? What made you want to leave? The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead and the X-Files. And Spirit said supernatural activity. I told. Thank you, Spirit. Spirit. So, okay, let me draw one more. And then I'll say what I'm getting. Pablo Escobar. And Cleopatra. I told you there was also a woman. Pablo Escobar and Cleopatra, those are two people that you do not want together. Okay. Okay, come through. Come through. Cleopatra, Pablo Escobar, The X-Files, and The Walking Dead. Bruce Lee knew that this gangster, this mobster, this person is some kind of this male is some kind of like mobster or something, some kind of kingpin, some kind of person walks in devilish energy, who's power hungry, money hungry, who gains money by doing shady things. Okay, he he knew if he stayed with this person that this person didn't match his energy. And I have Cleopatra here, and you know, the truth about Cleopatra is that she was very shisty. She was. She slept with a lot of men for power. She was. I don't know why my blush is bothering me. I'm just gonna fix it. Sorry. She was very vain. She was very superficial. And even though she was a woman who gained power, the way she gained it, she had to play like the boys do, and so that's the energy that there's a woman and a man here. Okay, I don't know who they are. I don't know the story of Bruce Lee, but in this energy, Bruce Lee is saying that there's a man and a woman. The man was doing something that could have been an X-Files, okay? And Bruce Lee knew about that. So there's something about Bruce Lee wanting to walk away from this person because supernatural things would happen that were like he saw this person as being someone wicked and evil, that weird things happened around. X-Files. It could be on the X-Files, okay? And The Walking Dead. He knew that if he stayed with this energy, that this person could kill her. Thank you, Spirit. He knew this person could,
I will not.
if he left this person, he would kill him. And he kept saying, "Oh, I won't do that." But there could have been supernatural things that kept happening. And that's why I said the steps. Because when you're projecting, energy manipulation towards somebody, and even if it starts off small, like you want to affect their pets or you want to affect the house, like supernatural things will happen, like the lights will flicker, or you'll see shadow people, or you'll hear voices, or you'll get like weird scratches or bruises on your body, or the house will fall apart in certain ways. There's non-physical ways that energy manipulation will affect things, and it will seem supernatural, or it will seem weird, out of place. And so that may have been something that Bruce Lee was observing, And he knew that it could be equated to this shadowy figure in his life, um, who he knew had a bad history of unaliving people if he didn't get his way, like a little baby. Like a little baby having a tantrum. Oh, you're not going to do what I say? Well, I'm just going to kill you. Harry Potter. I cannot make it up. I can't make it up. Magic. I can't make it up, you guys. Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I have Cleopatra and Tutankhamun, and then Stephen King. This is a horror movie. Sherlock Holmes, that's me right here. Oh, look, an alien. Didn't I say the movie Alien, The Covenant?
A forgotten area.
Come through, spirit. This person, this shadowy Pablo Escobar person in Bruce Lee's life, along with Cleopatra, were trying to get rid of Bruce Lee. And they were doing it through energy manipulation. That's why there's no way that Bruce Lee, at age 32, would all of a sudden have a allergic reaction to one of the most common medicines in the world. No, no, no. No, 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 no. And even if he did, okay, sure, but then 20 years later, your son dies? No, no, I don't think so. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. That's not plausible. It's just it's so astronomical. It's just not plausible, okay? Um, come through, spirit. So, someone was playing with energy manipulation, low vibrational spiritual practices, and Bruce Lee may have found out about it. Sherlock Holmes. Bruce may have found out about it. And that's why he wanted to separate from this energy. But this energy needed him because he was making his money. There's some kind of connection between Bruce Lee's martial arts films and this person. Okay?
Orlando.
Wow. That's
Its fate.
okay. Tell me about this woman. Tell me about this woman. I'm going to do my Egyptian cards because I have Tutankhamun and Cleopatra.
Dubious.
The way I know about the way Tutankhamun comes into play is Tutankhamun would be Bruce Lee in metaphorically. Thinking back, the black goo that you referenced could have been black heroin. Think of, it could have been, yeah. His whole death could have. It says online the autopsy says it was an allergic reaction to whatever he took, but who knows? That does just because it says it online doesn't make it true. You know, it could have definitely been fixed. The another way I'm thinking about the reference to the Alien
Jeremy.
movie is that the black goo,
Absolutely.
absolutely, the black goo is the black magic. The black goo is a black magic, a little drop of magic to create an outcome they wanted. He just said absolutely. So it's a metaphor. But Tutankhamun was killed. Tutankhamun was the son of Akhenaten and Nefertiti, and Akhenaten was he was trying to bring back
Moments before.
the belief of one God instead of multiple gods, um, the sun. And so that was a belief system, a philosophy that is associated with uh, unity consciousness, that we're all one, that there's one creator and we're all parts of that creator. And so that's a philosophy that didn't work for this scenario, and that's why everything kept working out for Bruce, because Bruce understands energy, he understands the laws of the universe. I don't know how he learned or in what capacity, like he was put in a position to know these things, but he knows it. And so he is too uncommon. He was unalived because of multiple reasons, but mostly because and then Cleopatra killed herself with a snake venom because they were after her and Mark Antony because she committed treason and she did all these things against her government and against all these people in her government. She betrayed them. So the Cleopatra is a reference to a woman who betrayed him who could have also been close to him. So these are people that were tight knit in his inner circle. I have 444, 222. I have 17, 43, 5. Interesting. All right. Ptah, skill. Skill. Yeah, he had the skill set. Transformation. Perseverance. Ptah, skill, transformation. Anubis, transformation. Neth, perseverance. And Isis, faith and wisdom. Yeah, so Spirit said it was fate. So there's a couple things here. First of all, he had high level ranking, spiritual ranking, which gave him the ability to understand high level spiritual concepts, which he applied to his own life, and he kept rising in his skill set, and he kept transmuting and transforming, going through transformations where he was basically ascending. He was in an ascension process, and perseverance through his faith and his wisdom. He was unstoppable, and so the only way to stop this person was the answer for Stephen King to create some kind of scenario where he could be stopped. Tell me what about Brandon Lee? Why did Brandon Lee have to be stopped? I mean, that was 20 years later. That was 20 years later. Why did Brandon Lee? Oh, I just saw this card pop out. Oh, phenomena, overachiever. Phenomena, overachiever. Because they couldn't risk another Bruce Lee. You know, Brandon Lee was the bloodline of a ascended master, and so if if Bruce Lee had this level of knowledge and philosophical ideations and had this high level spiritual knowledge, then so did his son. It's pretty fair to say that so his son would have too. And his son's an overachiever. If he was in the movie The Crow, which blew up. The Crow blew up. Everybody loved that movie. I remember when that movie came out and it gained so much popularity. He was going to be very influential. And so was Bruce. And so it was like the same energy. Um Overachievers, go ahead, shoot your shot. Um they just couldn't have this. The devil couldn't have it because it would have it would have given us high level spiritual knowledge and changed the paradigm. It would have changed the paradigm, and that couldn't happen yet, I guess. Where are the bodies? I guess they weren't ready to let go of that power yet. What else? What else do you want to share with us? Thank you so much. That's a lot of information. Oh, we'll look in the philosophy book since These are a couple philosophers over here, Bruce and Brandon. Tell me more. Mm, where where then is the odiousness of that doctrine which I teach in my school? This is David Hume, an inquiry concerning human understanding. Or rather, which I examine in my gardens? Or what do you find in this whole question in which the security of good morals or the peace and order of society are in the least concerned? The security of good morals, or it says, or the peace and order of society. I deny a providence, you say, and supreme governor of the world who guides the course of events, and punishes the vicious with infamy and disappointment, and rewards the virtuous with honor and success in all their undertakings. But surely I do not deny the course itself of events, which lies open to everyone's inquiry and examination. I acknowledge that in I acknowledge that in the present order of things, virtue is attended with more peace of mind than vice, and meets with a more favorable reception from the world. I am sensible that, according to the past experience of mankind, friendship is the chief joy of human life, and moderation the only source of tranquility and happiness. I never balance between the virtuous and the vicious course of life, but am sensible that to a well disposed mind every advantage is on the side of the former. And what can you say more, allowing all your suppositions and reasonings? This was his friend. But I surely do not deny the course itself of events which lies open to everyone's inquiry and examination. I acknowledge that in the present order of things, virtue is attended with more peace of mind than vice, and meets with a more favorable reception from the world. I see what you're saying. This was fate. Spirit said it's fate. And what I mean by that, and what I think Bruce is telling me, is that it kind of reminds me of clues or breadcrumbs. If Bruce had not died, if he wasn't, if Bruce had not died and he continued on,
Manipulate individuals.
thank you, Spirit. If Bruce had not died and he continued on, there's something about how his favor he wouldn't had been as favorable he wouldn't have had as favorable a reception from the world as he did when he died. And so in examining in examination of events after the fact, he realizes that it needed to happen, even though in life, it was a disappointment for a lot of people for him to pass. But he brought enough influence of his philosophies and ideations, and he gained just the right amount of fame to be able to make a mark in our society, in our culture, to the right amount to facilitate our awakening now. Does that make sense? There's something about that. He gave the right amount of virtuousness in a vicious world he was in, and showed enough balance between the virtuous and the vicious that he showed it was possible. And he showed that this was an intelligent design that needed to happen in the way it happened in order for us to be able to have that like pinpoint of time where we have a
date,
person, a date, a person in the 1970s that had these radical philosophical ideas in a time where they weren't accepted but are now being accepted. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. He's saying that if he had continued on, that he may have been more susceptible to the vices of life, and his impact wouldn't have had such a reception as it does now, because it would have been, uh, if he had stayed, there would have been, it says right here, it doesn't mean behind the scenes there ain't no dirt to trace back. That as time went on, he would have been susceptible um, to basically not being as virtuous as he was when he passed. He would have been under, you know, a lot of pressure and stuff, and it would have been different. So him passing at the time he did, in his state of virtue that he was,
for eternal power.
for eternal power, for eternity, will now be solidified
Number 5,
as this person of philosophical value that we have as an influence. Does that make sense? Wow. So it was fate. He had to die at this time. So even though the way he died was underhanded, it was kind of like a unfolding of events. Like, it kind of reminds me of when we talk about soul
dinner,
contracts and the way that we set our lives up before we even incarnate, and the people that we, or the souls that we create these contracts with. um it's so multifaceted that it's kind of hard to like wrap your brain around how many uh benefits and how many things it can affect and how many like chords there are. And this is kind of like a chord that was needed for our ascension now. So by having him be honored or be um, solidified as the person he was and the energy he was at the time he died, in virtue, a man of peace, a man of virtue, a man of high tranquility, a source of tranquility and happiness, it solidified our uh it solidified his influence on us now. That's what I'm getting. And I'm not getting a ton about Brandon. I think because they're so connected in the way that they influenced, like basically when you think of Brandon, you think of Bruce. They're like intimately connected. And so it's like one it's like one entity, because 20 years later his son tried to almost follow in the footsteps of his father, you know,
make their
going
presence known,
make their presence known. And
sound,
that is what solidified confirmation. That is what solidified his demise, is that whatever powers that be, whatever this is, knew that whatever Bruce Lee was about, Brandon Lee would be about. And so they couldn't have Brandon Lee gaining so much influence with the same kind of philosophical ideas as his father, because that would change the paradigm. It would have changed us as a society in a good way, and they just weren't ready to let go of that. And so they have to do things like this that are underhanded to ensure that they keep power, that we don't gain, that we don't awaken, basically. And right in the beginning of the reading, Spirit said, keep awake, keep waking up. So these were just two very influential people that had very philosophical and spiritual knowledge. that and they were overachievers, and no matter what they did they were supported by the divine because they were highly spiritually ranked. And so Bruce Lee's death was fate. He needed to die at that level of virtue, because if he continued going on, he would have eventually came to a point where he could have been his virtuosity or his virtue could have been tainted in some way, and he wouldn't have had the same effect or the same impact he did when he died. Okay. Oh, I didn't see that coming. So what is the lesson here? What's the lesson here? Tell us what
better.
better. Spirit said better. What is the lesson here? Tell us what is the lesson we can take away from this reading? What is the lesson? Oh, that just slipped out. Gratitude. Fill me with gratitude for all you give. May I be a vehicle for wherever you go. Yeah, Bruce Lee had and he talked about it all the time. And I was reading this article where his daughter said he had notebooks and notebooks of, can you focus here? We can't understand. You're speaking alone. Awesome. Your voice and energy is so peaceful. Oh, thank you, Gemini. Thank you so much. He had this attitude of gratitude. He always said, be like water. When you come to an obstacle, flow around it. Learn, if it's something. That's why he kept having green lights. Everything worked out for him because he knew that whatever obstacles he come across is a lesson. There's lessons and blessings. There's a lesson there, and so instead of viewing it as an obstacle, he viewed it as a lesson, and he went around it, and he found a way to find gratitude in the lesson, and he knew that the power of that, and he knew he was protected. He knew that everything works out for him. He really had that ideation. He really had that philosophy. Healing myself heals my lineage. Shift your perspective, just like we were talking about Chicago. Shift your perspective. Flow like water. I cannot make it up. Allow me, divine, to move with the flow and respond with calmness and peace. Yes, he was a conduit of peace and tranquility. He worked on healing himself. He worked on his skill set. He knew what he liked, what he was passionate about, and that's what he worked on. That's what he focused on. That's what he focused on. And by doing that, he made himself better. And and it shifted his perspective into understanding that if I just focus on myself and I work on myself, everything works out for me. When I don't worry about how things are going to come to me, when I don't worry about, what's the next step, and I just worry about um, how can I be better in this moment, it shifts your perspective. And he had an attitude of gratitude. Tantric journey. The frequency of tantric journey helps us to unlock the hidden knowledge and wisdom that we intrinsically hold about how to reach a state of wholeness and completion through our sensual experiences with ourselves and with another. Allowing. Mm. I don't know if he was having, and I have faith again. I have faith twice. So he allowed himself to have faith, to have a relationship with spirit, with his own faith, with whatever spiritual beliefs he allowed himself to be a reciprocator of that energy, and he walked in that energy, and he knew he had the law of assumption that everything worked out for him. Everything was a yes, and that anything that came across his way was needed, and that he saw the value in anything that he came across, whether it was good or bad. And it shifted his perspective.
Possible.
And he knew that Whatever is meant for him is meant for him. My sexuality is sacred in reverse. There's something about him using his sexual energy as a way to shift his perspective. He may have had like a moment of abstinence, or where he realized that, or he had the knowledge and the wisdom to not give himself away sexually, something like that, where it actually helped him to pour that energy into himself instead of giving that energy to everyone. He may have been somebody who was very loyal, very uh in his relationships. He was someone who was very trustworthy. He was someone who honored his sacred sexual energy. There could have been some kind of relationship he was in, perhaps with the mother of his children, that allowed him to really, he may be wanting to give her some kind of attention right now, just to let her know that her love and her faith in him is what kind of got him through a lot of hard times, and what got him through to be able to work on himself and to heal his own lineage, to really take him on this journey of self-discovery, um, and to get him to an attitude of gratitude that allowed him to get through a lot of obstacles. And so I think he's just wanting to, I don't know if she's ever going to be watching, or if she's alive, or what, but devotion, I told you, but he was completely devoted to her. And it was her love that kind of helped him shift his perspective on where he wanted to go and where he wanted to take his career. And it was her love and that got him through. It kind of reminds me of when you have someone who's a positive influence in your life, like somebody who you share things with about your dreams and aspirations, and they're like your cheerleader. They're like, yeah, that sounds amazing, I love that for you. Yeah, I can't wait to see how they push you to want to follow whatever it is that you're interested in. And so he had that, and through his relationship with the mother of his children. So I think what he's trying to say is that you have to have that in your life. You have to have someone. You have to either be that person in someone's life, or you have to have people in your life who give that to you. And if you don't have people in your life who give that to you, then you have to be, I am the light in the world. You have to be that for yourself. You have to be positive. You have to change your perspective. You have to assume that everything works out for you. You have to assume manifesting is my superpower. I clear my energy field. Yes, if you don't have a person in your life that pushes you, that believes in you, that is your cheerleader, you have to be your own cheerleader. You have to be able to know that you can do anything you put your mind to, as long as you're committed and you're focused and you're doing the work and I mean, Bruce Lee came across someone that, took that away from him, but that was fate. He got himself to a place of manifestation, a place of virtue, a place of devotion, of a place of loyalty, of being a person of integrity on purpose through fate. And that's when he was taken, because he needed to be in that energy for us. He did that for us. He basically did that for us, so we could see that it's possible, so we could see that you could be at your highest potential, that you can get to where you want to go, that you can be a good person, be devoted, be loyal, that you don't have to step on people to get to where you want to go.
Assumably,
Assumably, thank you, Spirit, that you can be
Christina
your own light, and you have to be your own cheerleader, and you have to know that you're supported. And when you live in that energy, when you do things in that energy, everything works out for you. It's a green light for everything. And if you come across an obstacle, you don't see that as a red light. You don't see that as something stopping you. That's why stop is sideways. You see it as a lesson, as a blessing, as some way to look at something differently, so you can go around it, so you can find another way, because whatever's meant for you is meant for you, and whatever's not won't is not. And so that was his philosophy, and that's what he wants us to know. That's awesome. I love that. I'm gonna cry. Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Bruce and Brandon. I'm sorry that it had to be this way, but I understand what you're saying and why it had to be this way. And I'm so grateful for the messages, and I truly appreciate your knowledge and wisdom. And I'll see you tomorrow for Guru from Gangstar. We'll see what happened with him. And I love you so much. Bye.